Hello, everyone, and welcome to Teresa's Spot for Art, where I love showing art from my heart and teaching you how to create a little joy in your life through some fun, simple, and quick art projects. It is the new year, so we are getting organized, and I'm going to have this, I'm creating this tutorial, show you how to do a little bit of a can upcycle. And so let me show you what you need. You need a wooden dowel or a wooden paper towel holder. This is the one I have. It's for another project. Of course, it's for another project, right? But I'm going to use it for this. I think I'm going to repaint the bottom of this as well, but that'll wait. Then I have these cans. They are chicken cans, but you can use tuna cans. This is for flat cans, not tall cans. I have a different one for tall cans. It's actually back there. I'm going to be doing that next. And then I found what works best to attach these to the wood is hose clamps, and then you need some kind of a tool to loosen and tighten the hose clamps. You could probably use wire ties. They would work as well. And then you need a tool. I used a Dremel to cut the holes in these so you can loop it through. Okay, I'm going to turn you guys around and we are going to get started. You can paint your cans. I'm going to decoupage them, but before I decoupage them, I want to paint them. So I'm going to loosen this one up because this one was just here to show you guys. It just comes up, once you loosen it all the way up, it comes apart, and then I can unloop it through like that. Okay, and I'm going to put these aside. I'm going to decoupage these. You could paint them, totally up to you. Your project, your way. You can do neither. I'm going to paint them with a base coat of white first, because I want this beautiful floral napkin to really show when I decoupage it. If I wasn't going to decoupage it or paint it white underneath, then my napkin would still be pretty, but it would be a little bit translucent because the napkins are very thin. So I'm just taking my white acrylic paint and painting on a really light base coat, and this will dry really quick. So, my cans have a little bit of the, I guess the glue from the sticker left on them. You could take it off if you wanted to. I'm not. For the second two, when I thought about it, I had APHFM put the holes where the glue was. On the first one, I didn't think of it to tell him that. And so it didn't happen. But again, it doesn't matter. You could get some Goo Gone. You can use a little bit of elbow grease, and I'm sure I could get it off if I wanted to. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. I think one napkin is going to work for all of these, but I don't know for sure yet. Okay, and I just want to make sure it's light and it's smooth, and that is that. So I'm going to get out the dryer. I'm going to go back to my, let me clean this off a little bit, just so it's dry and it doesn't get on everything. I'm going to go back to my original one. I'm going to get my napkin, and when you decoupage and you use napkins, napkins are multiple ply. That means there's more than one layer to them, and you need to separate them. Sometimes they're 2 ply, sometimes they're 3 ply. So let me just go in here, and this is a 2 plier. So I'm just pulling off the back layer. You can keep the back layer if you want for something. I usually don't. You want to be careful because it is just a napkin, and now we're, even making it weaker by pulling off the 1 ply. A little bit stuck right there. I don't know why. Let me get it. Okay. And I'm very gently pulling them apart, and I'm going to throw that away. You do you. Okay? And these cans are definitely plenty on here for this to work. All right, let me put that aside 1 second. And I'm just going to paint this up real quick right on here. This has a groove in it. These come from Diverse Woodworking, and they have these cutouts for inserts. So you can put in here interchangeable wood cutouts. They're 1/4 inch interchangeable wood cutouts, fit nicely into this groove right here. And then it's a paper towel holder for you to have in your kitchen and change up seasonally. You could actually put a canvas board in there as well. I'm just getting out these two colors of paint. Actually, I'm going to remove this because I don't want to get paint on that. I could paint it if I wanted to, but I'm not. I'm going to get my brush that I used to base coat my cans. And now I'm just going to start painting this in. I don't want to overblend these colors. I actually put too much paint. I originally base coated it white when I was going to use it for a different project. But like I said, it came from my stash. And when I had the idea to make this, I thought this would be the perfect thing to use. And let me get a piece of scrap paper so I can wipe it off. Okay. And there we go. Put that over there. And then let me pop this up. And we'll move this out the way. This is a silicone mat. It will clean up really nicely when I'm done with this project. I'll just take it inside and wash it with some wet, warm, soapy water, and it'll clean right up. Okay. Next thing I want to do is make sure one layer of this will fit. So I'm going to measure. You put this down, and I want to measure and see. And I think it just makes it. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to cut this into strips.
Okay, so that's one. And I'm going to cut this one, you're going to put paint on it.
My Mod Podge. Sometimes I put my Mod Podge in these little containers. This way I'm not leaving out the big giant can and it's getting air in it and drying out quicker. So I'm going to use the bottom and the top. I put the middle aside. I'm going to use the bottom and the top because the bottom and the top have the straightest edge because that's what came from the manufacturer. So I'm going to get my Mod Podge brush, or I had somewhere. I'm going to dip it in my Mod Podge, and I'm just going to put a very light coat here to start with. Just maybe a couple of inches light coat. When we're using napkins, we want to make a light coat, and we don't want to use anything too thick. That's why I use the Mod Podge. If I was using heavier paper or something thicker, I would use a thicker gel medium. And I'm going to try and get this on here as straight as possible with the top of my can. That's why I used the straight edge from the napkin to begin with. And I'm just going to keep doing a couple of inches at a time and slowly trying to keep my edge to the top, laying it down gently and not making any bubbles. All right, and I'm going to push down with my finger a little bit there. Okay. Not a lot of pressure, very light touch, and I'm tapping it down. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to add in a couple more inches of the Mod Podge and flap it over again, lining it up with the edge and then gently pressing it down. You can pick it up if you're very, very careful. Like there's the fold in there. I want to give that a little bit of a stretch to get the crease out. You can pick it up if you're careful. But you need to be very gentle because it will rip and it will stretch. And then there goes your straight line that you've been worrying about so diligently. Okay. Again, I'm going to flip it back and I'm just doing a little bit, a couple of inches at a time. I'm making sure I'm lining up the edge with the top. No wrinkles as I go. I'm only worried about the one edge because we'll get rid of the bottom edge. We can just, we can sand it or we can fold it over. And now this doesn't have to be perfect. Yes, do we want our art to be nice? Yes. But it does not have to be perfect. This is an upcycled project. I'm reusing cans. And so if it's not perfect, and you know what art is perfect? It's all okay. So again, the last little bit of this, I am going to overlap it a little bit. I don't want that crease in there. And there we go. And that is our first can. I need to put a little bit overlap here. And we're just going to put that aside now and let that dry. We'll come back to it. I'm going to my next can. I'm going to go to, again, the top part of the napkin. I'm going to start again. I'm going to line this up with the very top. I got about 2 inches of Mod Podge on there, straight, and there we go. So I'm going to do the other 2 cans like I did the first one, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next.
This last little bit will overlap.
I'm going to go back to our first can. And now I could get a sander and sand this off. But I think I'm going to fold it down and Mod Podge it in. Okay, so I'm just going to go around each section. I want to pleat it. I'm going to fold it in. It doesn't matter that it doesn't cover the whole bottom because you're not going to see it. And then I'm going to just put a clear coat on there. And then I'm going to gently put a top coat around the whole thing. And when I say gently, I mean gently. You don't want to tear the napkin. I gave it a little bit of time to dry. This is matte medium. Over my edge there. And I think it is all good. Nobody's going to see the bottom, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit wonky. I want to make sure I get it in to the edges underneath the lip of the can. Okay. And we're going to put that to dry. Just going to close up the edge here a little bit all around the top. And then I'm going to put that upside down to dry. I'm going to do the same thing with this one, but it's a little bit longer. So I'm going to cut it off. It's almost like cutting off when you have too much wrapping paper on a Christmas present. So I'm just going to cut that off. I'm going to come in here at my Mod Podge and put it all around the edge like I did with the last one. And then I'm just going to start folding it in and pleating it as I go around. So keep it nice and round. And fold it over and fold it over. This one happens to be a little bit longer, so we have a little bit more coverage on the bottom. But again, like I said, it doesn't matter you're not going to see it. And I'm just going to now put a sealer top coat on this one as well. Be careful if the edge inside your can is still a little sharp. You don't want to cut yourself when you're rotating it around, and turn it upside down and leave it. And then we're going to do the last one. Is the last one going to fit? The last one's going to fit. So again, I take my Mod Podge, start folding in. This time I'm Mod Podging each fold to itself. I'm thinking that might keep it down a little better. And then I'm just going to add the clear coat, finish coat, top coat, whatever you want to call it, to the bottom. And then again, I need more Mod Podge all the way around. Now, once everything is dry, my cans are dry. Look how nice they came. Aren't they gorgeous? This one, and then this one. So I'm going to put the one that's not covered on the bottom, this one, on the bottom. Okay, so we need our hose clamps or your wire ties. I need to find my holes. They're over here. And I'm just going to use my nail. You can get your scissors, whatever you need to put them through. And you want to feed one side in, and then you have to like bend it a little bit to get it to come back out and around. Takes a little bit, but you will get it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to pop it in, and then I'm going to screw it closed. And as you screw this, it will tighten. Should I put it in the front? No, that's going to be a picture. It will tighten. I want this in the back. Now, if you wanted to do something else with these so they swiveled, you can. I'm just doing this. They won't swivel. They'll be stationary, but that's okay. All right, so that's one.
Poke through the holes right now. Push it through one side, and then unbend it a little bit. Push it through, and then bend it back, so you can get it back in the other hole.
There we go. Unbend it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to stagger this one on here. They're going to overlap a little bit, but not too much, because we want to be able to put stuff in them, right? So we have a little bit of an overlap there. I'm going to pop this together. I'm going to start to screw it, and then I'm going to grab my nut driver here. And you can have as much layover or overlap as you want. And you can use this for beads, office supplies, sponges, little paper clips, whatever you have laying around, you need to organize, stack up, get rid of, whatever. This will work for that. And you can get a paper towel holder from the Dollar Tree. As long as it's wood and you can be able to like clamp onto it, it'll work. And there we go. Again, so I'm going to line this up. Have a little bit of overlap there. Bring these two pieces together. Get it started. Grab my tool. You can do this with a screwdriver too if you had a screwdriver. There's actually a screwdriver on the end of this. I want a little bit of overlap, and I want my wire tie, my hose clamp to be in the back. I lay this on its side so you guys can see. I have a little bit of overlap, but they're staggered, and I'm just tightening this up here. And now these won't move. I probably should have clear coated this on the bottom, but that's okay. And there we go. And I can take this as is. I can put something in here, a cutout or whatever. Let me grab another can. I can turn that to the back, and I have a can that I decoupaged back here, and I can mount this here as well. And look at that cool organizer I have now. Isn't that awesome? I can take and put some stuff in here. I can take and put a couple of paints in here if I needed to. Some tchotchkes in this one. And we have that really cute organizer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.